Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So I guess we still always want to check, make sure before we get into anything that everybody can see us and hear us. But we want to say hi to everybody that's here. We are Knits and Pieces, mostly knitting podcast. And we are coming to you from Southwestern Ontario. My name is Noelle.
I'm Kelly. Don't mind me. I was just doing a little chair dancing when the music was getting going.
Dance. Okay, so it looks like everything's good as far as sound. So anyway, welcome everybody. This is our Tuesday night get together, knit chat. I see everybody's talking about their knitting already. That's amazing. We'll talk about ours, but we just want to welcome everybody here. And I would just like to say thanks to everybody for all the really nice comments about the New Zealand video and for, hoping that I was well on the road to recovery. And I do feel like I am. I've actually started doing a little bit of exercise, probably more than I should, but I am starting to feel more and more back to normal. And I mean, knitting was never compromised, so that was a good thing. So, but anyway, we're glad that you liked the episode. It was wonderful. I met so many nice people and went to so many wonderful yarn stores. And again, I can't say enough about, and I'm not sure that I mentioned in the video, but it, like thanks to the St. John in New Zealand and the helicopter. I did link it underneath, but they were amazing. So, you never hope that you're going to need anything like that, but it's good to know that in certain places, things like that are in place if you do need help. So, and very much appreciated. So, how is everybody? We're back to winter.
Well, we had just that tiniest little preview.
It was almost a whole week.
It was a glimpse. It was just a glimpse of what's to come. That's all it was. And, so we were sitting under the bridge. Oh, I meant to pop that photo in. Ah, darn. Anyway, we were sitting under the bridge on Saturday and it was warm. It was like 26, 27 degrees.
Well, it was cool when we first got there, Kelly.
Well, yes, but we're knitters.
I had my shawl wrapped around my legs but there was a breeze coming off the water, and that was what was cool. So once the wind kind of swung around, it really was quite warm.
And then the next day, Fern is back on, bundled up. That was it. It was just a little glimpse.
Well, later on that day, that morning wasn't too bad, but then it seemed like the temperature just dropped and dropped.
No, not later that day. It was the next day. That day was so warm. It was actually kind of stinking hot. I was out in the backyard.
No, Sunday?
We were under the bridge on Saturday, Noelle.
No, I know we were, but Sunday afternoon it rained and it got cooler.
Oh, Sunday afternoon. Yeah, that's what I said. The next day. That's what I said the next day.
No. I thought the next day the temperature just continued to drop. But it was nice in the morning on Sunday, but it just went downhill after that. But
yeah.
So we're back in knits.
We are back into our traditional Southern Ontario weather.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. For a couple of days, I wanted to knit linen, and now I'm back to wanting to just knit wool. So.
I know. I was working on a summer sweater, and I'm like, nope, pull out the woolies. I finished a woolly sock.
I actually saw a few people in here are working on the summer canoes. I would do another one of those.
It was a fun pattern.
I liked knitting it. It was a fun knit. Julia finished her Sparkle Cozy Classic Raglan
on Sunday.
So, yeah.
And she's cast on a salty air tee. Julia, that's in my queue. That salty air tea.
That's in my queue too. It is very nice tea. So,
and Sarah says we went flip flops to. Sarah says we went from flip flops to winter coats in 24 hours.
You could go from Birkenstocks without socks to Birkenstocks with socks.
With your winter socks, absolutely.
With your stocks with socks.
Brigitte says that it is 79 on her patio. I don't know where she is. Not anywhere near us.
Not near us. And Lisa from Queensland in Australia is saying that it's autumn there, but it's still 30 degrees C. So anyway, the weather was, I thought it was really nice. And I think there's no humidity yet, right? So it was just the warmer weather, but we don't have the humidity wet. It was absolutely perfect weather. I think most afternoons last week I sat outside and knit because Ross got the patio furniture out with the umbrella up, and it was just so nice just to be outside. I mean, I know I was outside in New Zealand, but it's nice to be outside, like in your own town, and finally feeling that the weather's turning around. And not that I don't mind winter, but by the time winter's done, I'm ready for winter to be done.
Oh, I'm ready for it to be done. Hands down, I'm ready. I'm over it. I am so over winter. However, okay, so we are 5.5 minutes in and we've talked about the weather. Let's
Well,
talk about some nitty things. How about that?
okay. Well, there were a couple of, I do have a couple of
Questions?
Yeah, well, not questions, but Joanne actually contacted me, and because we're running the Cal, she said that there is, if you're looking at, and you were going to choose the colors that are recommended, if you're looking at the color scheme in Ravelry and they've got them all listed, there's actually an error. The one color is 423 and they call it burnt umber. It's actually burnt ochre. So if you were looking for it, you might not find it, but apparently in the pattern,
okay.
at least the pattern on Shetland, the colors are listed correctly. But just in case you were looking at that, that's the difference there. And she said she did contact Ravelry to see if she could get it corrected.
Okay.
And then the second thing was, and I know you've been sent this too, and I don't know if you've tried it yet, the Norwegian Pearl Waltz.
Yes. Yes,
Have
I
you
did.
tried it?
I
just looked at the video. I haven't tried it.
And I said last week that I would have this ready to talk about a little bit more. The thing is, the only thing that I was working on this week that I could have done that with was something that I had on 9-inch needles. And I think I confessed this before that I cannot Norwegian purl on a 9-inch needle.
No.
I need to be on bigger needles. So I did try it. I can see the benefit in it. I want to do it on bigger needles, and then we could talk to the group about it. And I thought I could even, it was Jeanette that sent us this little video that she had posted to YouTube, and she sent us the email that she had done this. And I was thinking I could pull it in here, but I actually can't pull it in from YouTube. So I'm guessing.
Well, I will link it in the show notes.
We can do a link, but
I'll link it in the show notes, and then maybe other people can even try it before next week too. And I haven't tried it yet. I want to try it, but maybe others can try it before next week, and we can kind of see what the difference is. And you're right at the moment, I'm not really working on anything that because I don't normally knit continental. Like I only knit continental when I'm doing color work. Mm-hmm. So, or if I'm doing, and that's the only other time that I do is if I'm doing on a 9-inch circular. But anyway, we'll give it a try and see how it's.
For sure. I'm anxious to try it. Like I said, I did try it. It's just, it's too tight. I can't on 9-inch.
Oh, on the 9-inch. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to say that I have had a couple of very patient testing episodes this week, kind of directly related to knitting. So I don't know what kind of a ball winder everybody else has, but I was ready to throw mine like halfway to the moon. It just was not, well, you know what, to be honest, it is a Knitter's Pride ball winder, and I have a picture of it, and I'll show you it right here.
Maybe.
There we go. So that's the ball winder. So like it's a fairly solid wooden ball winder. So I probably got this maybe, actually, Kelly, I think I got it just when we first met. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And we went to knitting, and I had a ball of yarn that I had wound on it that was tangled which way to whatever. And it took me the whole it took me the whole 2 hours.
Is that is that the same one that Ross had to send out for parts?
Yes. So we had to send it. We sent it away. So they said there was something wrong with the balancing in it. So I actually got a new one, which worked marginally better. And I've had a little bit better time with it, but it just, again, was not cooperating at all. It never actually wound yarn like my old just plastic one. So, I mean, I was ready to get a new one. I was ready to throw it across the room, but enter.
I stand by my Stanwood ball winder. I stand by it.
Anyway, so Ross took it, and we tried a bunch of different things. Like I tried roughing it up because it seemed like it would wind rustic yarn because it stuck to itself better. But the superwash yarn was just like flying all over the place, and it wouldn't wind it. And you know my patience level.
This big. Patience of a tiny creature.
Anyway, so he tried a few things, and first he tried just like making a groove kind of it in the middle. So we tried that, but then you couldn't get the cake of yarn off because the top of it was wider than where you were winding it. So that was the one where we got this thing finally off, and there was yarn popping out of it everywhere, and I had to rewind it. And I just honestly, like I had to count. I'm just like, Okay. And Ross was helping me, and it probably took, I would say, an hour and a half to unwind that ball of yarn. And at the end, Ross goes, I'm really impressed. I didn't think that you would last that long. Yarn.
Yeah, I thought you would have walked away and Ross would be doing it by himself.
Because he was going to say, just cut it here. I said, no, I'm not cutting it.
Joanne says she has a Knitter's Pride and she's never had any problems with it. I was going to say jokingly, maybe it was the operator, Noelle, and your level of patience. But if Ross was involved, Ross is...
Yes, because Ross was winding,
ever so much more patient
on it too. He is. So anyway, so what he ended up doing, he actually, his friends got a lathe. So he actually, I've got some more pictures that I'll show you. Now, I wouldn't suggest doing this, but I mean, mine was to the point where it was either going in the garbage or, you know, do whatever to it to see if it will help. So here's a couple of pictures. Like you can see at the bottom where it's thicker, he just kind of took it and smoothed down the top. So the top goes, kind of goes a little bit smaller. And I've got a couple of other pictures just to show that.
Yep.
So then you can start winding the ball kind of around that middle part. And again there. And since he's done that, he wound a couple of balls on it just to make sure that it was okay. And I wound yarn for a project today and it worked perfectly.
There you go. So now Ross can add ball winder extraordinaire to that very lengthy resume that he has, being a yarn husband.
So anyway, so I'm so thankful for that. And anyway, now I don't have to go out and get a new ball winder. And in the meantime, I had to go to London yesterday for a doctor's appointment, and I picked up my old one from Jacqueline because I didn't know whether this was going to be fixed or not.
Yes.
But
and then your doctor's appointment proved to be trying. Why was that?
That was also a
texting me from her car, angry.
No, I was in the doctor's office.
Oh, in the doctor's office. Right.
Waiting. So anyways, I got in and I waited in the room. Like, you know, they bring you in from the waiting room where you've already waited.
Yes.
And then in the room waited for over an hour and a half.
So
I thought, you know, no problem. Mostly all the time, it's not a problem. I have knitting with me. Well, I was knitting this. And look how far I got. And then I just got into the part where I had put in my little markers for my heel, and I started knitting just plain stocking stitch. And I'm like, why does this seem so loose? Like this just, like, is this yarn different? Did Heather do something different with this color? Like, why does this seem so big? And then I look at the needle size. I'm knitting it on a 3mm needle instead of a 2.25. Well, this almost went across the room of the doctor's office. And then I'm like, look what I discovered. I stopped halfway through a row. I'm like, so what do I do now? I have no other knitting needles. I have no other knitting with me. I'm in London. I still have an hour-long car ride home where Ross is driving. I'm like, do I keep knitting just for knitting it?
I have two words. Poor Ross.
Anyway, so I went through my phone and I deleted old pictures. I read every single banner in the doctor's office that there is to read. Whatever. I mean, you know, I'm the person that has to spin a few minutes while my toast is popping up. So it was a long trip home from London. So anyway, moral of this story is you need to have backup reserve knitting in your car. That's not even the knitting that you're taking in somewhere with you.
That's right.
You need
learned. More than one project.
Learned.
I would always take more than one project in a car trip. Just saying.
We're only going to London, Kelly. I can't knit a whole pair. I had enough for a pair of socks.
Optimistically, though, what if your appointment ran long and you were finished
2 days? Anyway, look at what was I thinking? Look how big this sock would be.
Is there nobody in your family that has one leg that's much thicker than the other leg?
Oh, no. So anyway, so that's gonna get ripped out. Mark, I couldn't go to Little Red Mitten because they aren't open on Monday. Believe me, I would have sent Ross there while I was in the doctor's office waiting.
It's a knitting emergency, Ross. Go get me needles. Right. Oh gosh.
Anyway, so.
Oh, Cindy said that she went to her doctor yesterday. She brought a sock to knit on and she got called in 10 minutes, saw the doctor in 5 minutes, and she was only there for 25. And that's what would happen to me. If I have to leave work to go to an appointment, I may not have knitting with me. And I'll sit there and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll do all the things on my phone that you talked about. But then if I think, okay, I'm going to an appointment, I'm going to bring something, I get called in right away. I don't know.
Julie said that I started those socks when I was on pharmaceuticals. You're right, Julie, I did. So anyway, I thought maybe I could rip it out, and a muscle burr can be done on a 3mm. I could start a muscle burr, and then I'm like, but this is one of my Christmas socks that I have this yarn for. So,
or you could look at it from this point of view. You could have just kept knitting and just taken the joy and the calming experience of knitting something with your hands. Just let those frustrating pheromones go.
And then when the doctor comes in and goes, "How are you?" And I'm like,
frustrated.
Anyway, I'm like, don't check my blood pressure right now. So, anyway, right. I made it through. Anyway, so now we should probably talk about knitting. Well, that was knitting. Those were knitting related. So,
okay, Bob says
we knitters have to go through.
Bob says that he also has issues with knitter's pride winder. It makes very sloppy cakes.
It does. It does.
The yarn wants to fall off the edges of the cake no matter what you do with the tension. Ready to toss it. Yes. Yeah. So maybe that's an answer. You could whittle down the top of the whatever that part is called.
It's worked for mine. I mean, like Ross is really good. Like he would go and he would get it done a little bit and bring it back and try it and go. And like, luckily one of us is patient. So.
And this is why we're in complementary relationships. I'm much like you. I get very easily frustrated. And if something's not going right, I don't have the patience for it. So.
Oh, Mark, if I had thought of that, I would have. Mark said I could have stopped at her place and picked up some knitting or some of the right size needles, borrowed the right size needles.
Well, and that's another good option, because I remember, what was it, a month ago when we were going out for dinner, I was at work and you called up or I got an invite to join some people for dinner. And I said, okay, I can go. But then I'm like, darn it, they're knitters. I don't have anything to knit. I just came for work. So I went by Noelle's house and I made her give me yarn and a pair of needles to start a sock on. And then I felt guilty because I didn't carry on with the sock. I knit part of the cuff. So I gave it back to Noelle after.
And I am knitting those socks right now.
And now you're knitting those socks. So
and you knit my first 8 rounds of ribbing.
Yes. So I think I knit more than 8 rounds. It was a whole dinner.
No, Kelly, there were 8.
Okay. Well, people did
We know how much you love ribbing.
Yeah, but it was knit too.
I could actually count them because I can see where the tension changes.
Okay, people did not join in here tonight to hear us bicker. Moving on.
Okay.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? Okay.
When I go in to do time codes tonight, I am fully naming that segment Noelle's bitch session. Sorry. Oops.
At least I have a smile on my face.
Well, you do. So oddly enough, we showed up tonight not talking about what we would be wearing, and we are wearing similar sweaters because this is how we roll. I don't know.
Yeah. And I thought that today. I bet you Kelly's going to wear a Jennifer Steingas sweater. And this was after I had mine on, not before.
Well, I try to think, what will Noelle wear? I try to channel your color. And tonight I thought, oh, well, pink. No, my nails are still painted gray. I'll wear something gray. I felt like coveralls. And then I pulled the coveralls on and I was running down the stairs. And I thought, the last time I wore coveralls, I had to get up and leave the show because I had to pee. And that was disaster. So I stopped on my way down to go to the bathroom for one last trip. But anyway, tonight, what are you wearing?
I am wearing the Hinterland by Jennifer Steingas, and I do have a photo. So I made this just at the start of
a long time ago when you had short hair.
It was the start of 2020, so it's 3 years. And I do like this sweater. I wear this sweater fairly regularly. I do have a banner for it here. There we go. Okay. There we go. Hinterland by Jennifer Steingas. So I really liked knitting this sweater. Well, I like anything that's got a colorwork yoke. Like it's just flies, I think, when you're doing a color work, because you just want to see the next kind of the pattern
Part of
develop.
the pattern. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this one is done in the base color is Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia, and it's in the Juniper colorway. And then the multicolor is Spin Cycle, Dyed in the Wool, and I think it's Tough Love is the colorway. It was actually a skein that I won in a giveaway that you were sitting with me when I found out I won it.
That sweater's not. No, that was not that skein.
Yes, it is.
That's the one
from Wool and Vine.
Wool and Vine. Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought the sweater was older than that. I mean, like prior to you winning.
I made it. No.
Okay. It's very pretty.
So anyway,
really
and so the Spin Cycle, like it does have some of the detail down on the arms as well. And then it's just a little rolled edge on both the sleeves and up here at the neck. But then the bottom I just did a twisted rib down at the bottom. And that was only one skein, but pretty much I used most of the skein of the Spin Cycle yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So if Spin Cycle is expensive, but it just goes to show that you can use one skein of it and get a big impact.
Yes.
So
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Becky says, don't bicker. Okay. And I am wearing also by Jennifer Steingass, a sweater called Garden Gate. And I did pull a picture in just before I popped in here tonight. Where did it go? There we go. So I knit this one quite a while ago too. Mm-hmm. Actually, the blue yarn is from Desert Blooms yarn in the colorway Colombian Monkshood. And I bought this yarn on a trip to Arizona. And then the speckled yarn is a single by Stitch Mischief. And it's her pure single and the colorway Coastal. I wear the heck out of this sweater. Like it's maybe one of my favorite sweaters. It's super easy to wash up. It really holds its shape well. It is a little bit cropped, but if I throw a t-shirt or like another shirt underneath, I'm okay wearing it with jeans. It doesn't fall into my Kelly's crop rule. It's long enough to wear with pants if I have a t-shirt or something. I have worn it with dresses, but it's very lightweight. Mine is lighter than yours. I'm sure it's lighter than yours.
Yeah.
And it did feel like it went pretty quick, despite the fact that it's a fingering weight single. And I had a lot of fun knitting it. I think a lot of the patterns that I saw knit up of this, or a lot of the sweaters that I saw knit up of this pattern, oops, didn't mean to do that. They had the wrought iron Garden Gate part they had done in the lighter color, and then the sweater was the darker color. So I sort of flipped that around and made my wrought iron the dark part. And I really like the way it turned out. It's a really pretty yarn too. It's a nice gray base, and I love those pops of orange. So yeah.
Okay. So that's what we're wearing. We're moving on. Okay. So do you have any FOs?
Well, it depends on what you call an FO. I'm going to count this as an FO, and you're probably going to argue with me again on it, but it's my let me put it on here so you can see it. Excuse me. It is my sock by Natalie, and I'm doing the sock a color a month. So this month's color is Peace, and it's got some pattern work on the back. The words wrap around the leg. This is the left sock. The right one is upstairs. I should have brought the other one down because I know you challenged me on that. I was running around grabbing the things. I'm having so much fun with this. I don't know if anybody else is joining me to do Natalie's socks, but even not the words, the pattern part is so pretty. I'm knitting this mostly with my I have so many balls of Knit Pick Stroll, and so I'm using mostly that. But this one, the white or the cream, is Marshmallow by Lion Brand.
That's that
discontinued. But
Sockies.
honestly, Sockies, one of my favorite
Yep.
yarns. It's that perfect shade of not white that goes along with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's not too yellowy and not too gray. It's just kind of,
and
it
there's
goes with almost
sparkle.
all colors.
There's a little bit of sparkle up in the band. Not a lot. Less sparkly than normal, I find, for the Knit Picks yarn, but I love these socks. I'm really excited about them. So I said that I would do a band a month, and I started in January, so I didn't count the cuff. And so we are in April, and I've got my four bands done.
Is there altogether, is there 12 bands?
No, I don't think so. Do we still have the picture in here?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I do have the banner though. They are called the Merry and Bright Socks by Natalie Sheldon. And no, I don't think so. I think there's one more color band to do.
Okay.
Which I think I'm going to do kind of like I'm trying to stick with jewel tone. So I'm thinking like some kind of a bright pink, like a shocking pink, or like a magenta, maybe a magenta. And then I think I do the heel from there. So I think I have to do the stripe and a heel because I want to finish them by November so that I have.
And
them
is the foot all color work too?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm doing these in a 2.5 needle size. This I think will be too wide for my foot, but perfect for to be able to get over my heel, my high instep. So my plan is once I get down past the heel, I'm probably going to drop down and go back to my normal 2.25 to do the rest of the color work for the foot. But they're so pretty. So pretty. I can't wait to get them done. Okay.
Okay. Well, I do have a finished object this week. And last week, Jacqueline did not watch the podcast. And I sent her the show notes the next day. And before she put them up, she texts me back and she goes, "Is that right? You don't have any finished objects there?" I thought she hadn't even watched it, but she's like, "This is not normal. You didn't have a finished object." She goes, and I'm like, "No, Jacqueline, I didn't have a finished object." And she just laughed. So anyway, for those of you that don't know, my daughter, Jacqueline, used to do the podcast with me back when we started a long time ago, because Zoe was just a baby. She still maintains our website for us. And so I do the show notes, but I send them to her and she posts them up. I'll post them all up on the website. So she kind of goes through them and checks them. And yeah, she noticed that right away. So this week I do have a finished object. So here is my this is my second Friday tee by Petite Knit. This is a sample for Leo and Roxy. This is done in the Leo and Roxy Basics yarn. So the main color is the classic gray, and then the colors in the yoke are more mustard, not quite white, majestic, which is a purple, and they're kind of close together there, but they are different. There's the majestic, and then the last one is basic black. And I mean, this is the second sweater that I've knit of this, and I love this sweater. The feel of the broken rib is just like, you felt it. I've had it at knitting. Like, it's just the fabric.
So squishy.
Is just amazing.
It's so squishy.
And then you still get the squishiness, but when you block it, this has already been blocked. Like, the rib really opens up, and it's absolutely a gorgeous texture. So again, the only modifications that I make to the pattern is I actually sew the neck down as opposed to knitting it with the cast on. And when I switch to the bigger needle, I do a row on the bigger needle before I start the short rows, just so you're not going back and forth on two separate needles. There's Italian bind off on the sleeves and on the bottom. And I do switch back to twisted rib for the neckband and the bottom and the sleeves, just because it does, I think it just, I don't know, it just brings it in a little and gives that a little bit more structure as opposed to the base of the body. So I'm going to drop that one off soon, and I've got one more to do. The next one is going to be, I think it's in Silver Streak, as the main color, and then all black for the stripes, and it'll be striped all over. But this would be this. I've also done a sweater in the kids version, the baby, and it's such a cute baby sweater, and it's perfect in your Leo and Roxy because it's machine washable. Actually, this you could even, if you wanted to, throw in the dryer. I did not throw this in the washer and dryer, but I did, because this is super wash, I did put it in a garment bag after I'd soaked it to spin most of the water of it out before I laid it out, because then you're not pulling something out that's got a ton of weight on it. And I did block it again with the pool noodle so that you don't get like a crease down the sleeve and a crease down the sides. So definitely I would recommend the pattern. And the yarn in the Leo and Roxy basics is very generous. This was the top was just done from minis. And they do have minis in all of their colors. Yes. And then the main body took less than 3 skeins of their fingering. So
Mark said Jolynn was wearing hers on Saturday.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask her to send me a picture, because I didn't take a picture of it before I brought it in. So I'll have to ask her to send me a picture.
Yeah. It is a really nice sweater. When you were working on it on Saturday, and it's really beautiful.
Not like that was 12 days and I was doing other things. So it's really not that.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. It's broken rib.
It is broken rib.
I had that.
But rib does not bother me to do rib. I don't mind doing rib.
Well, I'll show it later, because I was working on my heart warmer tee and it's got a section of broken rib. And I felt like it took me a long time to get around that sweater on doing the knit one, purl one rows, right? I was like always excited when I got to the knit row.
Well, yeah, but I didn't mind doing the 2x2 rib for the Andrea Mowry socks either.
And I didn't really care for. I love the socks.
I don't know. I don't mind doing rib.
Okay. So. Okay. Did you finish anything else?
No, because I started other things. I might have finished a sock, but no, I have to rip it all out. I might have finished the sock in the doctor's office on the way home from London.
Well, it's not really a finish, I guess, but it's a hoe. Is that finished enough? I can either talk about it now, or I can talk about it in 5 minutes and call it a whip, but I'm going to talk about it now.
We're moving on to whips. You're
so bossy tonight. No, I'm talking about my hoe. I have a hoe.
Okay, and we are now in whips.
Hose is a section all by itself. Sorry. I do the timestamps.
You've got a hoe now.
I have a hoe now. I do. Okay. Look at this.
Okay.
Do we have a label still for this? I think we do. Just a moment. These are the Northern Comfort Sock pattern. It's on the Roots and Rain website. It's knit in the Roots and Rain field sock yarn, and I am here for it. Friends, I am here for it. This is nice. Luscious. Look.
No, I don't want to see any more yarn that I need to have.
I love it. And okay, so I'm a ladies 8.5 and 8 to an 8.5. This is 48 stitches. It took really not a lot of time to knit, and it took exactly 30 grams, and her skeins are generous. So it's like this much shy. If I had have done a couple of rows less here, I could get 2 full pairs out, because at 30 grams, there's 100, and in the skein that I got, there was 113 grams. So I'd be like super close to getting a second pair. But I did get some yarn last year in Montreal by Cabin Boy Knits, and it was just some natural dyed DK. It feels a lot like this, and it's just some muted colors that I'm pretty sure I could pair up in some way and make a cuff. So to talk about the Roots and Rain, it is 100% Canadian wool, Corriedale, Dorset, and Suffolk. And I believe it's the Suffolk sheep that gives it these little black guard hairs that you see in there. And it has 20% nylon as well. And then she dyes it using natural products. This one is Eastern Brazil wood, and she uses rainwater to do her dyeing. I love these socks. I absolutely love these socks. Look at the different colors. They're so pretty. And they feel amazing on your feet. It's rustic, but soft rustic, and so squishy. So there's my hoe.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any other hoes?
No, one hoe is enough. I have one hoe.
Well, I have a hoe. Well, this hoe was done before, so it doesn't really count. But I do have more done on the next sock. Let me just grab it. I should have had these with me too when I went to London. So I am working on my Dunbrock socks by Kay Jones. And I know we do have a banner. Okay, you look for the banner. Okay. Okay, so here is the first sock. This is the sock that Kelly was talking about, that she knit the first couple of rows in the ribbing. And it does have a long ribbing.
I thought it was a lot. Then she says it's 8. Now it's a couple. Pretty soon, I won't have knit anything on it.
It was 8. Anyways, so there's the first sock. It does have a long ribbed cuff. So altogether, there's 30 rows of ribbing.
I wouldn't have done that.
So it does have, so you can fold it over if you want to. So I have already gotten to the heel flap and gusset is done on the second sock, and I'm into the decreases. And yeah, I really like it. I love the feel of this yarn. This is the Barocco vintage sock. So there's still going to be quite a bit left when I'm done the sock. So the Barocco vintage sock has the same composition as the Barocco vintage, and then they've got vintage DK, and then they've got vintage chunky. And I believe they're 40% wool, but then there's a nylon and acrylic component. Yeah. So wash and wear, like machine washable, dryable. So again, great for socks that you can put in the washer and dryer. Great for kids stuff, gift socks. Yeah. And I do think it's the colors are really nice. They're really heathery. Mm-hmm, and in this one, it really shows up, like you can see the pattern there quite nicely. And the pattern is reversed. I know when I show this, I have problems showing it right, but it is. I've checked it. So the pattern has your main kind of braid here going down the opposite side of each leg. So that they're mirrored.
It's a really nice pattern too.
It is. I really like the pattern. Like even just the texture.
It's kind of waffly.
Again, it's broken ribs. It's broken rib, but it's more like a 2-row broken rib as opposed to just in every other row. So yeah, I really like that. And hopefully I'll get those finished up soon. Okay.
Anna says that she is frogging all of her whips this week. She's reorganizing her stash and she's starting over. Wow. Sometimes you just got to clean house, right?
Yeah. So back to before when we're talking, Becky said there's a full moon tonight. That means I probably won't be able to sleep.
Daphne said you're on fire with your sassiness tonight.
I didn't even say anything sassy. Anyway.
Irene says we're in rare form. Irene, get ready for this. Get ready for this.
Okay. Do you have any other whips?
You'll be listening to this chaos in Montreal. Do I have any whips? Yeah, I have whips.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of course.
Whip them out.
Whip them out. Okay. I am working on the Heartwarmer Tee by Justina Lorkowska. And I have, rather than just show you the whip, I'll show you where I'm at on the whip. Look at this.
Yeah,
I was at try on time. Try on time is like super excited. Ignore the fact that that's bedhead hair and no makeup in the morning. But anyway, I was excited, friends. I got up in the morning. I thought, I just want to try this sweater on. And it's good. Fits good. I'm happy. Good. And since then, I put on some more work on I'm like 2 sections in now. I think I'll have to do like 4 or 5 repeats of this, which is supposed to be grapes. I don't know. I guess it kind of looks like grapes, right? Sort of.
How do you know it's supposed to be grapes? Does it say that in the pattern?
That's what it says in the pattern.
Okay.
Grape section.
I didn't know. Oh, that's what it says. Okay. Because I'm thinking, heart warmer, grapes.
I know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, it's a really pretty pattern. This is my broken rib section. See that right down
there?
That's the broken rib. And to me, and there's 11 sets of broken ribs. So like the knit row, knit one,
So like
purl one
22
row.
rows.
Yeah, 22 rows. And I felt like that was taking forever. But anyway, I just busted into my second ball of yarn. And this is the Sonder Yarn Sunday DK 4-ply that I got in Montreal last year. Whoops, there we go.
Sorry, Kelly, Sunday morning 4-ply. You
It's-
said Sunday DK 4-ply.
Okay. In my head,
Morning,
it sounded like Sunday morning, but, and the color is Free Spirit. I love it though. I really love it. And the plan is to wear this in Montreal. I am changing up. I did have a picture of the Heartwarmer tee. I will be changing it up. So you see, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats of the grapes. And I'm thinking if I want to do a crop, it'll be 5, probably, maybe 4, because I want this one to be cropped.
Like 4 total?
No, 4 sets of 2, because 2 is a repeat, 2 of them, and she's got 6 repeats, right?
Okay.
And I've already done 2, so I'll try it on again after 4, and I'll see where it's at. But I do want to make it as a crop because I plan to wear this with some. I'm going to make some high-waisted linen pants. I don't know how that's going to work for me. I may scrap it. We'll see. I hope I'll like them. I like them in my head.
Don't know till you make them. Yep.
That's right.
Now you said before you were going to do 3/4 sleeves.
Yes, I want to do 3/4.
So are you going to put that grape pattern in the sleeves?
No, I'm not. I've already thought about that. So I have some more rows to do of the broken rib to match what's here on the body.
Right.
And then I think I'm just going to go to a straight stockinette because I think there's a lot going on with this sweater that I'll be completely okay to have just some plain stockinette somewhere on it. I think it's a lot, but I really love the color. I truly, truly love the color. It's beautiful. And the yarn feels so good. In the pattern, the yarn that she uses in the pattern is a superwash. So you can see that there's a lot more stitch definition in her version of it than mine. Mine is not a superwash. It's, but I am particularly proud of the baubles. The baubles look pretty good. So, okay. That's my other whip.
Okay. So my next whip is, I'm just going to bring up a picture here. Okay, so when I was in New Zealand and I went to visit Lisa in Christchurch, who has the podcast Unwind and Knit with Me, she was wearing her Kavat tee, and I love it. I mean, I had liked it. I had liked the tee before, and I had meant to do it, but that just inspired me right there that I really wanted to do it. So while I was at her shop, I actually got some yarn to do it in, and it is the Nurturing Fibers that she carries in this colorway is aged leather, and I'm actually already done with the pink.
Oh, wow.
So
that's beautiful.
This much done. So the pink is cherry blossom, and then the body of it is the aged leather, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I can't put it down.
Pretty.
That's why
I know.
my socks
it's so
done.
pretty.
I should have brought this with me. So this does have baubles as well. So there's baubles up here in the pink, and then in the body, there's just like at the end of some of these repeats, there's a little bauble. And the way that Caitlin Hunter did it, I've actually done it that way, and I'm actually happy with it. And you don't have to do any turning. So they're relatively easy to do. And I love the colors. I love the yarn. I love how it's turning out. I can't wait till it's done. So I'm 3 repeats down. I think I might have like another 2 and then the fit and then the edging. So I don't know. Hopefully it won't take too long, but this pattern I really like it. And it's one of those same patterns.
I want that to be
just moving on to something different. And it's not all the same. And you get down to the body and it's not just ribbing all around, or it's not just stocking stitch all around. And I really love this yarn. So this is Nurturing Fibers. I love the colors. They're kind of just muted and soft and
really pretty.
So I'm really happy with that. So hopefully, I'm hoping it'll be done by next week. So
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
definitely it will be.
We'll see. But that was yarn that I got at Lisa's shop in Christchurch, and I couldn't be happier with it. I've tried it on. The fit's good. It's just, I keep trying it on after every repeat. You know, it only goes to here and here. And I'm like, Ross, do you think it's long enough? He goes, how cropped do you want it? Anyway.
It will probably come down quite a bit though when you block that out, right?
Oh yeah, it will, because it's like, you can tell that right when you stretch it out and the lace is stretched out, yeah, it's really going to block out. So
that would look so pretty with a pink linen dress.
I was thinking that, Kelly.
Oh, were you?
Anyway, and it is that I didn't put the poster up there of the name, but it is the Cravat by Caitlin Hunter. There we go.
It's really nice.
And again,
I love that sweater.
It's kind of like the Miserino. Remember, like how
much we loved that.
Doing it? I know.
But strangely enough, that sweater never crossed my radar until like you sent me those video clips when I was doing the podcast. And as soon as I saw her sweater, I became like instantly obsessed with Lisa's sweater.
I know.
And then you said what it was. And I'm like, how did I miss that? But then when I went in and I looked at it, I see now why I missed it. She did it in, the body of her sweater was quite dark and it was variegated. And I felt that the pattern was completely lost, but I absolutely loved Lisa's version and yours. It's beautiful.
So yeah, I'm really happy with it. So, okay. Do you have any other whips?
Not that I worked on this week, but I did just want to go back. Sharon, was it Sharon? I've lost the comment now. I was trying to hold on to it. She said that she sent me an email about the hinterland dress. And I don't know. Oh, Sharon, yes.
My yarn.
Okay. Said that you sent me an email about a hinterland dress. I don't recall seeing that, Sharon. So maybe you could send it again. I'll
check and see if she sent it to ours, but I didn't see one.
I thought I responded to somebody this week in Ravelry about a hinterland dress, but I'm not entirely certain if it was this week or not. And Nick wanted to know what color pants I'm planning to make. Nick, I'm going all 80s. I'm going to make black linen pants, and I'm going to have that hot pink with black linen pants. I'll be easy to spot in Montreal. Okay. What's next?
Okay. I have one more whip.
Okay.
So I'll bring a picture up first here.
Donna wants to know how many hours a day you knit.
A lot. Okay. I just have to find it. That's not it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to do this pattern. It's called the Wayworth, and it's by Isabella Clark. And it is a cowl. There she doesn't have it sewn up. I just showed that version of it.
Okay.
But here's what it looks like around your neck. But that's kind of dark.
Reminds me of the pressed
and hard
flowers.
To see. Yeah, so I really liked the look of it. So I thought I wanted to do it, and I was sure I had something in my stash that would work for it. So I picked these. So my base color is just this color. This is smoked. It's Patagonia, Juniper Moon Farms. Let's see that. We talk about this all the time, but I don't know if I've ever shown the label. But this is Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia. It is a organic merino. They class it as a DK, but it's more like a sport. There's 350 meters or 382 yards. So I find like sport to light DK, like you can even sometimes use it in place of a heavy fingering. So that's the Juniper Moon. And then this was one. This is Crazy. Do you remember we bought this in Columbus?
Yes.
This is Crazy by Stonehenge Fiber Mill. And this is yarn that they do. They're 2.5 ounces. And they do it with their mill ends, and they spin them, like barber pull them together and spin them into different colors. So we had bought a few of them there. That was the ones that we bought and started our shift hat right away. So
thinking we could wear it the next day.
Here's what I have. Here's what I have done so far.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's like so much fun. And so it's like it is mosaic, but it's not just mosaic. You're doing some wrap stitches as well. And so it's knit back and forth, but really most of it is garter stitch. So there's very little purling. It's mostly all knitting. The hardest part so far was it starts with this I-cord edging and then you pick up stitches from your, so you have to do this long I-cord tube in 2 colors, but now it's just fun and seeing the colors change. And so it kind of reminds me a little bit of the shift cowl, but it looks a little bit, more fitted than that.
Yep.
And we think our shift cowls are a little bit loose because you kind of get like a bit of a gape in here. So that one looked like it's a lot closer to, I don't know, to your neck. So I really like it. I'm really having fun doing it. And I do tend to wear my shift cowl a lot. I like that shape of a cowl because it's so nice to put something on as opposed to a shawl that you have to kind of work around and pin and get it to sit right. Like you just put your cowls on and they're kind of just there. And they look amazing if you've got this on and then your jean jacket on. So yeah, so that's a lot of fun. So I'm having fun knitting that. And then that's all that I've been working on. I have to start the other Friday tee. So I have to get that on the needles.
Very good.
And I should pop the name of that shawl up. I didn't think I popped it up, but it was there. The Way Worth by Isabella Clarke. And she has a podcast. What's her podcast? 100 Acre Wool.
Oh, okay. Her. Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize the name, but I do know her with that podcast. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's basically knit sort of like the same direction, the same kind of direction shape as doing the shift cowl where you knit the piece and then you seam it just at the back. So like basically I'm knitting like this, but this will be like one V, right? So that'll be like one side and it'll have a piece that goes up the other side as well, but it's all knit in one piece and then you seam it together. Okay.
I want to talk about 2 comments that popped up here, but before I get away from Sharon, you were asking me if the sizing was true to size. I feel like it's fairly true to size. I'm not afraid to make it like almost at my bust size because I did find that it was ever so slightly loose. The dress is meant to be a little loose anyway, but it does have ties at the waist, so you can always pull the ties a little tighter at the back if you want the dress to fit a little bit more snug. There are bust darts in the dress, but they are, I think she has it graded that it would fit up to a C cup if you're anything above that. She has tutorials that can help you through that on how to adjust the pattern to allow for a larger bust. The one modification that I do make each time I make it is I have found that the neck is just slightly too low for what I want it to be. I don't like to have to be concerned about bending over when I'm wearing clothes. So I always just do a slight adjustment in that neck and I bring the neck up maybe an inch or so. And then I just grade that out to the shoulders. But the one place that I did find that it was a very good fit is in the arm side. Like sometimes a sleeveless dress is too deep of an arm side and I don't want my bra showing up above that. So I do find that it's a decent fit. And I made Noelle one, obviously, so it's quite a bit smaller size. And I think you are okay with the fit, right?
Yep, it's and I found that I had it on in New Zealand, like with just a bra on underneath it, and it was fine. And then I've had it on since I've come home with like a turtleneck underneath it, and it's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that it's a pretty decent fitting dress. And there's so many hacked versions out there of different things that you can do with it. I know Sarah, I was chatting with her this week on Instagram. She made a version of hers and she used a hack and she made it as a wrap dress. And I thought that was really fun. So I think Sarah's coming to knit with us this week. So Sarah, either wear the dress or bring the dress because I really want to see your hack. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. The other thing that a couple of people mentioned in here, when you showed off that cowl, that instantly made me think about the Press Flowers sweater that got released this week. Not the cardigan, but the pullover. I think I want to make that. Obviously not right now. I'm in no grand hurry for it, but I was already kind of thinking like, what do I have in stash that would be fun to make that with? Because I loved your shawl when you made it. And I really think that a pullover would be very flattering in that pattern. And then I like
the cardigan, but I like the pullover better because it's raglan, whereas the cardigan was drop sleeve.
Yes.
So I wonder if you could do the sweater, the cardigan, or the pullover, but steek it.
And then steek it.
And make it into a cardigan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that might be an idea. That I think is, yeah. And I'd have to look at the tension, but I think it would work with the Patagonia and the Shoppo Wool Edition 3.
Oh, and I have that. I have all of that. Okay. All right. So that's thought number 1. Thought number 2, Dawn popped in a comment. I woke up this morning to an email from Andrea Mowry.
Yes.
Well, not like she emailed me directly, but you know.
No, she emailed me directly, Kelly.
Oh, did she? Okay. Anyway, I am all in for that. And I don't think I want the hoodie. I'm not much of a hoodie person. I like the concept of a hoodie, but let's face it, I have long hair. I've got nowhere to go with that hoodie. I never know what to do. I'd have to put my hair like either into one braid to even wear a hoodie. I love the concept, but you know, and I often wear my hair up in a bun. It doesn't fit in the hoodie. So I like just the cardigan, but I love the shape, the shape of it in the front, how it dips down a little bit towards the hips. And I'm thinking that would be so cool in a crop, like over dresses for the winter. Like that looks like my favorite cozy sweatshirt. And
it was funny because Heather had asked me on the weekend, because she must have seen it on Instagram before. And I'm like, oh, I don't really like hoods. I don't see the point of them. I don't really wear them. And then it's a lot more yarn that you've got to buy to make the sweater. But then when I saw it, I really liked it, and I really liked the hood. And I saw one version that the person had done it, and they had I can't remember what color it was, but they just trimmed it in here and the bottom and the drawstring on the hood with a bright pop of color.
Yeah.
And I think
you could do so much with it.
So I don't know. We'll see. Julia says she thinks that the pullover might be worsted weight, not sport, but we could adapt that, Julia.
Oh yeah. Everything is adaptable. We can do the math. So yeah. Going back to Darcy. Darcy says that she loves that we build a wardrobe around our knits. Doesn't everybody?
That's right.
So she says that her salty air is in navy, and she says, does anybody have ideas for bottoms other than white? My mind goes straight to khaki.
I like taupe.
And khaki.
Yeah.
You could, if the tee is in navy, I know that somebody mentioned, Nick mentioned, instead of black linen, but black linen is what I happen to have right now. That's why I'm going to try that in the pants, is to make, I'm stuck on this bag. Sorry, I'm fiddling around here. To put navy with this color. Yeah. And so same thing in reverse, if you happen to have your salty air tee is navy, a magenta would be amazing for a pair of pants. And I happen to have such a colored pair of pants, and I love wearing them.
Or if you were wearing it in navy and you had like a bright fuchsia colored dress.
Yes. Yep.
That would look really nice. So
really faded blue jeans, I think, would look great with that.
Like Becky says, light denim or mustard. Yeah, that's good. Mustard would look good.
Oh, mustard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How did I not come up with that color? Yeah. Absolutely. So there you go, Darcy. Lots of color choices. Anyway. Okay. Now. All right. I'm just trying to catch up on notes here. Sarah says she will bring it. Awesome.
Okay. We should probably talk about our knit-alongs that we have going on. Okay. So we have our sock knit-along going along, which runs from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. And at the end of every month, we draw a prize. We go back to the beginning of the year and draw up to the end of each particular month. Mm-hmm. And the prizes are a pattern prize from Natalie. And we also have a sock yarn prize. So we draw 2 winners every month and send those out. And then at the end of the year, we have a grand prize that we, again, just go back from the beginning of the year and randomly pick someone that has put a pair of socks in there. And the only thing that you have to do is finish your socks and get them in there.
A pair of socks. Hose don't count.
Yeah, no, hose don't count. Hose don't count. Socks that you knit and ripped out and didn't finish don't count.
Yeah, that's right. I checked last night while I was getting the podcast set up, and there were 852 pairs as of yesterday, and they're already.
Wow.
We're not at the end of April
warm
yet.
Feet.
It's a lot of cozy feet. Yeah, absolutely.
So
This is the Instagram hashtag down below.
Yep.
If you are so inclined and you want to show off your project on Instagram, you can use that and we will see it. I'm happy to look at your socks there too.
Okay. And there is a Ravelry thread for both a chatter thread and a finished object thread. So that's where we draw prizes from, is the Ravelry thread. So, okay. Now the second knit along that we have going along is our Smash That Stash. And this is Stash.
Yep.
Was anything else? Oh yeah, this was Stash. These socks were Stash.
Yep. My sweater is Stash.
My sweater is not Stash.
The socks are not, but these are definitely Smash That Stash. Yeah. They're all yarn that I've had for a long time.
Yeah. So anyway, for the Smash That Stash, you have to knit something with yarn that was in your stash before January 1st, 2023. And you have to use 50 grams of yarn. Whips are included. There is a finished object thread on Ravelry. We have already drawn for the first quarter. Every quarter is separate. So now we will, when we go back next time, we will draw finished objects from April 1st until June the 30th. We will do that for the 4 quarters of the year. And then we have a grand prize, which is a gorgeous roll top bag from Delacue.
Yes.
And so the grand prize will go to someone that has a finished Smash That Stash object in all 4 quarters.
Yes.
So, but we do draw a prize at the end of every quarter as well. Okay.
Okay.
And then our last knit along that we have going on is our Makealongs, Makealong actually. We are running that with 3-ply podcast, Around the Table Yarns, Dude Knits, Frivolous and Frugal, Got Whips, Magpie's Cottage, Pandemic Knitter, and PJ Knits. For hours, you can knit any Marie Wallin or Susan Crawford pattern. Marie Wallin does have crochet as well, so you're welcome to crochet. There are sweaters, hats, gloves, socks. There might even be, Marie Wallin might even have like some like household things like Afghans and things.
We should mention too that crochet is completely acceptable in any of the Makealongs.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be just knitting.
Yep. So get those finished and get them in there, and we will have a prize for that at the end of the year. Okay. I didn't ask you, did you buy anything this week?
I did. I sort of did. I definitely did. I bought. Vonda was kind enough to share. She got a little bit of extra Nudidin and was kind enough to share. So I bought 300 grams, and it is the, oh gosh, I have no idea how to pronounce it.
How to pronounce the color?
It's FIKTIV. I would call it fictive. I'm sure it's not called that, but look at this.
Oh, that's a beautiful color. Yeah.
It's an absolutely beautiful teal. Look at all of the colors in there. I just love it. This was my first choice color in the release a few weeks ago, the March release, and I did not successfully get any. So Vonda had gotten a little more than she needed and was very kind to offer it to me. So I bought it from her, but it is, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm just excited to have some. Oh, it's very sheepy. I've wanted, I just kind of gotta, I've wanted some of this yarn for a while. I have a shawl in mind. I think I've shown it before. It is the Sulina, and I may have taken it out because I thought I was done with it this week. Yeah, I definitely took it out. Anyway, it's a beautiful shawl, but now I'm wondering, so I have this color, which is called Moreau, which is very pretty. So I was planning to use that, but now that I have the teal, do I want to make the shawl in teal? I don't know. I'm leaning to the teal.
Some of the projects that were done with this used Nudidin.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they looked really nice, but I just don't.
It would have to be a single strand.
Would worry about that. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to look, but yeah, some of it was done with with 2 colors I've knitted in.
Okay. Well, my 2 colors don't go together, so that wouldn't be an option for me, but something good is going to come of this. I don't know what yet. Something good.
There was some questions here about, I'm just going to answer these questions. So
sure.
Dorothy wants to know if you use a condiment held with stash, does that count? Yes. It just has to have 50 grams of your stash yarn in it. Mm-hmm. So if someone else said that they used 4 out of 5 skeins were stash, yes, that will count. So we just want you to get stuff out of your stash. If you're using it with something else, that's fine, because that's still less that you bought.
Hooray for Bobette. She says that she knit a sock for the first time last month. Hooray.
That's awesome. That's
awesome.
Right.
She says now she's hooked and she will try to do a pair a month. Good for you, Bobette.
Good
for you.
So, okay. Did you buy anything else?
No. Well,
no, either. I didn't buy anything. Well, we're waiting for our sparkle.
But we're waiting. Yeah.
I know today when I was pulling out these yarns and I was going through pulling them out, and I go through and I see all the yarn that I've got, I'm like, I don't need to buy yarn ever.
I know, but we will.
But when I'm looking for something and I see all my yarn, I think that, but then when I see new yarn, that thought goes right out of my head. So, but we do, and so do you. We have some absolutely gorgeous yarns.
I know.
That's why we want to encourage people to use those gorgeous yarns.
Well, I do. I honestly do. I do use my yarns. But I'm not gonna lie, I buy a fair bit of new stuff too, but I do use yarn that I have. So I just have to do a better job at using a little more. Laura says to check out the soft.
Bobette says she just ordered a ridiculous amount of yarn for socks. It's not funny. Sorry, Bobette. I didn't mean to laugh, but isn't that what we all do? As soon as you knit your first sweater, you go out and buy 20 sweater quantities.
I know.
Anyway, good for you, Bobette. That's just what we would do too.
We would. We totally would. Nutty Nitty Sisters says that Helen Stewart's Handmade Sock Society season 5 starts. I did see that this morning as well.
Yep.
And I've knit Helen Stewart sock patterns. I really like them. Can we double dip? Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
you can use socks out of stash yarn, and then you can enter into the sock cal and the stash. And if you really want, if you want to triple dip, you could use stash to make a Marie Wallen pair of socks and put it in the Marie Wallen.
That's right. So it could go on all 3. Plus you can go the other podcasts. If you're doing the Burra Cowl, other podcasts that are running that, they might have different rules than we do. Some of them might just be the Burra Cowl, but if it fits in theirs, you can put it in there as well.
Absolutely.
So, and same with socks. There's lots of other podcasts that have sock knit-alongs that you can enter into. So
I just started thinking about yawning, and now I'm yawning.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well.
Okay. I wanted to say too, in the Smash That Stash, I looked in there last night too, 1,350 projects in there already.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Judith says giving up yarn shopping is harder than quitting smoking. I don't know about that.
I gave up.
I don't know if it would be, but
I gave up a winery in New Zealand to go to a yarn store.
Oh, I could do that easily. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Anyways.
And Laura also says to check out the Traveler's Cardigan by Ozetta, which she's using Manchalopi for. Traveler's Cardigan.
I would like to.
Is that something that would be made in this?
Manchalopi is similar to that. I haven't felt it. I don't know what it feels like. I have looked at it. I really would like to get some of it. And who knows, maybe someone in Montreal will have it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You just said you don't need more yarn.
I know. I don't. I don't need any. I know. Well, I momentarily forgot about all that yarn up there. Anyways.
We can't help it. We like what we like, and we are constantly inspired too. And so maybe that's not a bad thing. I mean, I see something and I'm inspired by it, what somebody can do with a certain yarn. I get excited to try a new yarn.
I know. And there's always new patterns too. And you don't necessarily always have the perfect yarn to go with that pattern.
Maybe that's what I need to do. I need to put blinders on Don't go to knitting shows. Don't turn on
Portugal has
Instagram.
Manchalope. Sorry. Oh, now I'll never be able to sleep. I'm all excited.
Okay, so Laura says yes, Manchalope is the same. Okay, well now I have to go down that rabbit hole too. Thank you, Irene. Irene wants to know if everyone hit the thumbs up button. Thank you.
Thanks, Irene.
I always forget to ask that, but yes, please do. So. Please hit the thumbs up. That's very helpful for us. Very helpful.
Okay. And we should say we do have some yarn that we're giving away from the New Zealand podcast.
Oh,
so if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, it is up now, and it's not quite it's not really like a regular knitting episode, because we go through and I visited some of the stores in New Zealand, and we have some film footage of them. So it's more like a travel blog. But we are giving away a couple of skeins of yarn. So if you have a chance and you want to watch it, it's up there.
Yeah, it's a yarny travel blog, because there's a lot of yarn in there, and these are really pretty skeins too, and they support a good cause.
That's right. So
yes, very nice. So yes, we have had, excuse me, in the last couple of days, quite a few new subscribers. So I have a feeling that somehow the word New Zealand must have taken it to a different part level of the internet world. And so we've got quite a few new subscribers. So thank you for that. So yes, if you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. If you like, and if you do have fun in here, please, yes, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, Nick says it's like a travel blog meets Knitters Anonymous.
I know, a little bit, but it was fun. Like it was fun to hear about.
You did a great job editing it.
Well, thank
putting
you.
it together. So
yeah,
it's almost Ross like I was did a great job with his commentary.
He did, and so many people had kind comments for Ross.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's. We've said that before. I really like his voice, like when he is commentating. So we might have to get him on.
Marianne said, "Can we do Iceland next?" I would love to do Iceland.
Yes,
that is on my list. We'll see when we get there. So.
We could do a little bit of a cruise up in and around the fjords to chase the northern lights. And when we're not chasing the northern lights, we could be knitting.
We can go knitting shopping.
Oh,
wait, we have yarn. I forgot.
No, we don't need to shop. We just need to knit. But yes, that would be fun. That'd be a fun trip. Actually, I almost did that a few years ago. I was pushing for it pretty hard. Mike did not want to. It would have been in March. So it would have been similar to our probably like February weather.
Yeah.
Mike was not there for it. He said, I don't want to go someplace cold. I want to go someplace warm. But Marianne says, here comes the raft. Yes, where's Pearl when we need her?
That's right. Oh, she's right back here.
Careful twisting.
Yeah. The girls take her down and talk to her when they're here. Give her a little pet and then put her back on the raft. I forgot. I was actually going to take her to New Zealand with me, and I forgot. Poor Pearl. Yeah. So.
Bobette's heading to Ireland in about 6 weeks.
That's
yarn
awesome.
Will be acquired. Well, good luck with that.
For sure. You make sure you show pictures.
Yes. I know that when I went to Ireland, I had a hard time finding yarn. I thought it would be abundant. There were lots of stores where you could buy knitwear, precious little yarn to be bought, but that may have changed. I think I was there.
Yeah, when we went, it was the same. That was 2010 that we went, and I had a hard time finding yarn. But now, if I went back, I've already got a list of places that I would go to.
I did manage to buy a sweater's quantity and a few rogue skeins, and I will shamefully admit that is all sitting in stash still. I haven't done anything with it. I knit mine. I've got to do something with it.
That's right. Lynn says souvenir yarn doesn't count when you shop in Iceland.
Marnie says we should arrange a knitting cruise. Wow, that'd be fun.
Marnie, that'd be an undertaking. Marnie, if you want to arrange a knitting cruise, we'll go on it.
Yeah, we will. We'll support you, Marnie. Yes. Okay.
So, okay. Well, it's so nice to talk to everybody this week. Sorry for the bickering.
We really do like one another. It's our way of showing affection. It's not bickering. It's playful banter.
It's like how you talk to someone that you're really familiar with.
My husband has a friend and they do like this fake arguing thing, the same thing, maybe a little more verbal. And anyway, they were like, "Stop, you're fighting." And they're like, "We're not fighting. It's playful banter." So that's all it is, just playful banter. So yes.
Anyway,
Linda says she would love to go to Shetland. Yeah, I would like to do that too.
I know there's lots of places.
And yes, Judith, that is where I got it, near Blarney Stone. There's a woolen mill with a fabulous shop full of already knitted things, but they did have some sweater quantities of yarn in there already packaged up, and that's what I got. So.
Well, and that's where I got mine, in a gift shop.
Yes, me too.
That they had some of the Studio Donegal yarn. So, but
okay, well, it's been fun. It's been fun hanging out with all of you. It's been a fun visit. Highlight of my week. I look forward to this. It was kind of a blah day today. Work didn't go fantastic, so this was really nice to have something to look forward to. So yeah.
Okay.
We will be back here again next Tuesday.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Yeah. Have a great
knitting
week.
That stash. And happy knitting.